A very good morning to you from wherever you are watching us from. My name is Ram Aguko. This is Power Talk. As always, it is a pleasure being with you each and every Thursday right here on Y254. We are coming to you live from the broadcasting house here in Nairobi, Kenya. We are also streaming live through our website at www.kbc.co.ke/Y254. Engage with us. We have a very interesting conversation lined up for you in this particular session here, right here on Power Talk. Remember, a repeat of this show again airs tonight and every Thursday at 10 p.m. Now, this morning, we want to talk about conflict in relationships and marriage. Now, many relationships always go through this, and there are many people who say that through conflict, you get to know more about each other. Now, this particular conversation is meant for you, so that you can be able to better know how to handle your partner. What should you do when you know you're between a rock and a hard place? How should you handle conflict between you and your partner? Should you give up? When should you say it's over? At what point should you say that between me and my partner we're done? What about those who are divorced? Can they handle their conflict? What about those who are yet to get married? What should they do when they come between a rock and a hard place and they are conflicted between family and friends? What do you do when your mother-in-law doesn't like you and there is conflict between your family and the family of your spouse? This morning, this conversation is for you. So send in your questions and feedback as we continue with this particular conversation, because we have a fantastic panel. We have people who are qualified to talk about this. To my extreme right, I am with Christian Matthews. He is a marriage and family therapist and also a certified family mediator. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Asante sana.
Glad to be here.
And of course, next to me, I am with none other than Reverend Evans Kocho. He is a pastor, a counselor, a mentor, and a conference speaker. Reverend, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
You're well.
Looking forward, I'm well.
I'm looking
Good
forward
to
to
see
it
you
also.
again.
Huh?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, my brother.
Yeah.
And of course, engage with us. The hashtag is Power Talk Show. The panel is here. The guests are ready to answer your question. Conflict in relationships and marriage. What should you do when you are in conflict with your partner, with their family, and your ideas just don't match? The hashtag is Power Talk Show at Ram Aguko, and that Y254 channel is where you can be able to engage with us. Head over to Facebook on our page, and you'll see a poster there. Drop in your comment on the comment section below, and I shall sample your feedback a bit later on during this show. Power Talk starts now. Christian, let me start with you.
Okay.
You're a family mediator.
Yes, I am.
And not just a family mediator. Ladies and gentlemen, he is certified to do so. I want to ask you this question. When we are talking about this conflict in marriage, at what point should we say that a particular scenario is now termed as conflict? Is every argument termed as conflict? Is any disagreement termed as? What is this thing that we talk about when you say conflict? What is it?
Thank you. Conflict really shouldn't be viewed as being negative all the times.
Yes.
There's a positive side of conflict.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, and they become very fantastic. Remember, these two people are coming from different background, different narrative, different worldview.
Yes.
So they may not have known each other enough. I mean, I do not know enough of myself, let alone knowing enough of my partner. I don't know what I will become when I'm 70 years. I'm just 56. So how could I claim that I know? So it's like we would need to explore each other and find out why that person does what he does. Then we can understand with him or her, if you understand, if you know the narrative, and we don't see it as conflict. It's like, I have not had much understanding of my partner, then we can discuss, we can dialogue.
Many don't understand what you're saying here, because something that conflict is when there is a physical fight. Other thing that conflict is just when there is a bad argument. But you're saying that there is good conflict.
Yeah, there is.
What do you mean when you say good conflict? And what are you talking about here?
It's like, Ram, if all you do in your house is yes to your wife, even when she says, it's time to die, I say, yes.
You are a yes man.
You're a yes man, everything is yes. Then you are not doing well. But when you say, oh, madam, wait, let us reason this way, say, no, you don't agree with me. And you think that is conflict? No! You are dialoguing. Sometimes conflict can be dialogue, but because of the pitch, the voice, and the scenario, and every human being is selfish. If you don't think my own way, then I say that you are conflicting with me. Yes. So, virtually when you dialogue with your partner and you do not see what he sees or he does not see what you then that is where we say, okay, we are dialoguing, but we say it is conflict. There are possible positive conflict. Not possible. Yes, not all. We can handle our conflict without being violent. That's what I'm saying. Conflict is just meant to be there. If we understand the basis why that person is behaving that way, we can settle it without resolving violence. Maybe that violence aspect is what people now term as conflict. Oh, conflict, broad noise and breaking things. No, we miss it.
We miss it. Your view on that? How should couples define conflict in a relationship?
Well, first, I want to agree with my brother
Christian.
Christian,
Matthews. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to have him. He's a therapist and he's a certified.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you. I agree with him totally. One, I would say that conflict is a two-sided thing. It depends that we are viewing it from which side or from which attitude or perspective. I have realized that everything in life depends on how you view it, depends on how you perceive it. And therefore, there is positive side of conflict, there is negative side of conflict. One, I would say that when there is a conflict, what you consider a conflict, the way you are viewing it depends or determines how it is going to affect you positively or negatively. And whenever there is a conflict, then we need to go back on what I've been saying in this program every now and again, that relationship or marriage or friendship, this was God's idea. Nothing is taking God by surprise now. God knew all these things would come, and He laid a proper procedure on how to deal with these things.
Okay. So the procedure was already laid by the master of the plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask this question here. Is conflict normal in a relationship? And there's a reason why I'm asking that. Is it normal to have conflict in a relationship?
It is normal.
It is normal.
Because my brother Matthew said, I grew from a different background. This other lady goes from a different background.
Yeah.
We are coming together. She doesn't know herself fully. I'm also struggling to know myself fully.
Okay. Is it normal?
Yeah.
Conflict?
Yeah.
There are several instances of conflict in the Bible. Sometimes Jesus will get some cane. I will now I talk to them, say, you are of your father, the devil. And that's why I say, no, you have a demon. Something like that. And the Bible will say, and the anger of the Lord arose. What are you talking about conflict? It's like, I don't agree with you, and I want us to reach a compromise. Now, it's normal.
Now, what I'm asking, what I'm trying to find out also further is, in some relationships, when conflict is there, they say, now, this is not normal. This is not normal. We keep on conflicting every now and again. Every now and then we are always in conflict. I don't think this relationship can work because the conflict here is not normal. What do you do in that scenario? Is that then the question is it normal to have conflict in a relationship? And then if it is normal, then how frequent should you tolerate it? Christian?
Okay. Thank you, Ram.
Hard question there.
You see, I have always given this illustration. If we put some sheet of paper on this table,
Yes.
and it's been blown here and there, there are two approaches. Somebody might say, oh, I asked you to buy that paper. Possibly you did not buy 80 grams. The person said, no, I bought 80 grams. Why is it that wind blows and that kind of thing? Another person might take approach, okay. In psychology, we take this approach. Oh, the paper is blowing, rather than running around and pack them and put stone on it, say, let us consider the source or the wind.
That is the wind.
If the windows are open, you say, switch off the window. If the fan is on, switch off the fan.
Switch off the fan.
That is the source of it. Most conflict we see,
There must be the source.
can I tell you, sirs? Most conflict we see here did not start just the time we saw here.
It started way before.
From childhood. It might be as a result of a mother that put his child on border, and the child hit his head when there was an accident, and that child is already affected. And by the time he's married, certain things might be affecting him psychologically. Disturbing this cognitive distortion. So it is not just because when I put my things here, I say, no, I want it here. I begin to argue. No, what is the source of such argument?
What is the source of the conflict, the source of it?
Yes, if that person is able to find out that, oh, the argument actually is not on how I bought the paper, is on the source of the wind. And they go in there, they switch off the fan, they close the window, then you can be sure that they will see the end of that. So, in that case, argument or a conflict will end.
But now sometimes it is very difficult to find out the source of a conflict. Sometimes when you try to find out the source of a conflict, you end up digging so many skeletons and so many issues come up to the point of no return. So then begs the question, if conflict is normal, at what point does it turn to be hazardous and abnormal that you say that now I give up? Then if something is normal, it should not make somebody give up.
Now, the thing is, what my brother said is true. When somebody is coming into a relationship, whether it is marriage or friendship, one thing you must appreciate that you are not born with this brother or this sister.
Yeah.
You might not know the things he or she was taught when she was still young or he was still young. You might not know how he was brought up, the background and everything, and the environment. So we have to appreciate that this person is coming from a different background, I'm coming from a different background. One of the things that brings all these things to escalate into other physical issues is when we have a lot of over expectations on
from your partner.
our friends or our partner.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You are over expecting. And you know, when the moment that attitude or idea of over expectation hits you, it will blind you with the person you are. And it will be very hard for you to think before you act. Or say that, you know, this thing must have a source somewhere. Let me find out the source. But if you know all these things, it's very possible to ask yourself, by the way, could it be that I am the source? What is happening? What is bringing all these things? And I agree with my brother that every conflict must have started from somewhere. The moment we only look at what is happening, but we are not looking at the source, we will never find a way forward, and that will bring that conflict into physical things.
Thereby making that which you said to be normal to not to be normal again.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So is conflict normal?
Pardon?
So is conflict now normal?
Conflict is normal. But now, what we need to look is this. It is normal because whenever two people are staying together, even in a school,
Yes.
when you bring the children in school, in a class, every child is coming from a different background.
Yeah.
You don't want to expect this kid to behave like the other one. There will be conflicting matters here. And a good trained teacher will begin to have consensus with these kids, sitting down with them understanding them, finding out why are you doing this? Who told you this is wrong? Who told you this is right? And by doing that, the teacher is able to find a amicable way to dealing with that conflict. So the conflicts that we are seeing in every relationship, in every marriage and all these things are normal. We have to agree they must be there, and they are there to help us grow. They are there either to help you put a channel for Satan to have his way in your marriage or your relationship. Yeah.
I see you're laughing there, Christian.
Yeah.
You agree with him? I see you smile throughout.
Yes, I agree with what he's saying. It's well experienced. The mistake we have always made in relationship is we don't consider what caused what, when, where, and how.
And even why.
Why? Yes, because the conflict we are talking about, when does it happen? Is it after he had taken some 2 bottles of spirit? Or is it after he has been to his village? Or is it after he had overtime at office? So we want to know what is the source and why is this happening? Is it particular time? And a lady was always conflicting with her husband. And the question is, what time? Is it every time? There's no time she has ever been in friendship with you. He said no. So what are the times? He said, towards evening. When towards evening? Anytime I am wearing short. Anytime you are wearing short. What is the demon in my short? Then, madam, can you tell me, on train counselor will say, oh, don't wear short again. If that guy does not wear short again, anytime anybody wears short outside, the same thing will happen. So, madam, what happened? Can you tell me some things about your childhood experience and whatever? While she lost her dad, she went to stay with her uncle at 9 years, and the uncle wore a particular shirt and raped this girl. So anytime her husband wears that particular shirt, it relieves the experience she had at that time. Yes.
So it's trauma that was undealt.
Yes, it's like it was not dealt with. And okay, now you said the other time that, if you know so much, then it will cause some. No, go see counselor, professional counselor. They know how to empower the wife or the husband to tell the partner whatever that is happening, and how to prepare each of them to accommodate each other. That is the work of the professional counselors.
And therefore, begs the question, at what point does conflict become hazardous?
Now, before we look at that, we need to agree in one thing.
Yes.
That every conflict emanated from somewhere.
Yes.
That there is a root cause.
There's a root cause.
Yes.
Like, for example, in a relationship or marriage, you find that there is sexual incompatibility.
Yes.
Or there is no consensus in financial management. Or there is external forces bringing some ideas. Oh, I know your husband. By the way, he normally sits with some girl there. You allow some outside things to come in. Then you begin seeing your spouse in another way.
Yeah.
They are building a negative attitude in you, and you acquire it and you implement it. So the moment we agree these things are coming from somewhere, there is a source, they're emanating from something, then we look at them from the point where they start.
From the beginning.
The moment we do that, we will not come to this extreme level of making it physical or becoming hazardous. We must look at the source, deal with the things from the source.
And can you deal with something from the source when it's already becoming harmful to you?
Oh, exactly.
It is possible.
If you go to a doctor in the hospital and you say that I cannot sleep at night, then he'll begin asking you some few questions. That, what do you do? Oh, I'm an IT expert. Okay. How long do you take on your laptop? All those questions are leading to the root cause. Already you are not sleeping, you have a problem.
But what do you do now when you are in conflict and it is becoming hazardous to you? Or even your health?
Yeah.
Some people have high blood pressure. When conflict comes, they always end up in hospital. Some people have these stomach upsets. When conflict comes, ulcers is there, and now they have to end up being admitted in hospital and being given those
Even the doctors, and I think Brother Matthew will put much more flesh in it. Even the doctors will ask you questions. What happened? What do you do?
And they even ask you, are you stressed?
Yeah, are you stressed? Where is your wife? What kind of work is she doing? These questions are leading to one thing. What is the source? And they will look at the symptoms and look at the effects now health-wise in your body, and also the source of this demon in your body. So that's why there are counselors in every hospital. And that's why there are doctors who will understand things medically. Then they refer you to, oh, you need to see a counselor. And the counselor will tell you, oh, you need to stop doing this, you need to be doing this, you need to be telling your wife this, oh, you need to be telling your husband this. There must be the source, every source of all these things.
So you're saying, in other words, when things become so hazardous, go back to the source.
Let's check. Where did it come from?
Christian?
Yeah.
When it becomes hazardous, what do you do?
Well, there's...
He said you go back to the source.
I agree with him.
Do you agree with that?
It's well experienced.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest with you about that. Yes. Well, we do something in psychology, a particular theories we use. We stopped using modern theory. We started using postmodern. Postmodern, if somebody is having a particular problem, we see him as a representative of the family, because it does not just start from him. Then we go back, we do genogram, we go back, find out, sometimes we invite, who else will be in counseling? Oh, is that my brother? Okay, the brother comes. Okay, who else can be? Say my father. Okay, who else is my mother? Then, and all that. So if somebody cannot sleep, anytime he fights, he has some conflict with his wife or husband or whatever, they admit the person. Oh, the question is, we go postmodern. It's systemic. We make him express that, well, anytime I have conflict with you, it lands me in hospital, then the counselor will ask, what can you do differently to maintain this guy? So we are becoming systemic.
Yes.
Because if that guy does not have conflict with his wife at home, if he has conflict with his colleague in the office, he will still land in the hospital. So how will he have the coping stance so that it's not everybody? The Bible says, if somebody, the owner of a house, is dropped every time, I want to hear what somebody is saying. He said one day he will hear his servant curse him. So it's like he say, okay, you got to have some coping stance. So when we deal with such a man that is always having conflict and go to for admission and all that, we talk to him, we talk to the wife and the people around that area, so that there can be solution. It's totally systemic. We bring everybody together so that there can be solution, not just dealing with that person alone. Otherwise, it might relapse anytime. Okay.
Now, I want us to give different examples now. That was just laying the foundation, ladies and gentlemen, to this conversation, because those questions are going to answer so many things that we are yet to cover.
Okay.
Let's talk about, and of course, ask your questions even as you continue with this conversation. We are going to cancel people today.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. Free of charge. But of course, they're paying something because they're using electricity and the little bundles.
End of the day, it is free of charge.
Now,
because finding this guy,
it's not easy.
it's expensive.
Now, I want us to touch on before marriage.
Okay.
A couple right now is struggling because they're having conflict. They're planning marriage. But now, how should they handle conflict with their family? The family that they want to get married to is in conflict. Example number one. The man himself wants to marry the lady, but the lady is okay with the lady is okay with the relationship and the marriage, but the family is not, or vice versa. The lady is okay, the man is okay, but the family of the man is not okay with it. That brings conflict. People start fighting. People start arguing. They say, "My daughter, he will not get married to that man." That is conflict. How should you handle such kind of conflict when you want to get into marriage? And of course, this is a scenario that is specific to those people who are serious in marriage. Yes, Christian.
Thank you. Well, I have been in counseling since 1986.
Well,
when you come to my office for pre-counseling sessions,
yes,
and I ask you for pre-marriage marital questions,
yes,
and I ask you, hey, have you ever had any conflict or cause for conflict? They say, no, I've never had. I say, please go out there. We're going to pause here for 15 minutes. Go and engage in conflict and come back. I want to know how to resolve it. In Africa, it is very difficult to succeed in that scenario you mentioned. If it is America or UK, they don't care. They only invite 2 friends and 1 person to come and sign. But in Africa, a wife is not married only to that guy.
He's married to the whole
family.
society.
Yes, society.
To the community.
Community.
And if they are asking you that we don't want to hear, the Bible says a wise man sees danger ahead. He avoids it. There was a time Jesus wanted to enter a particular city in Samaria, and they said, you are not coming here. The 2 sons of Zebedee said, let us kill them, let us bring fire. I said, no. Do you know Jesus did not enter there?
Yeah.
They don't want you. They are ready to, you are so lucky. Otherwise, if you are married in that family, and they begin the conflict, you might not like it.
So what somebody should do if they are in that particular scenario is just leave it alone?
No.
Because you said a wise man sees
danger and avoids it. Yes, but I mentioned about source sometimes.
Yes.
Let me give you a scenario. A lady was going to, my client, some 15 years ago, wanted to marry a particular guy. And the bishop counseled and said, God told me that you must not marry this person. And the lady came. He said, this is what the pastor said, the bishop said. I said, no problem. Let us find out what the assignment I'm giving you is go and find out whatever that had transpired between bishop's wife and any of your brothers.
So it's not always going to be just between the two. There is something more than meets the eye. So if somebody says you will not get married to that family, there is a deeper story.
Deep things.
There's something.
Yes. So,
but now that is beyond you. It doesn't even involve you.
That is why you need now to negotiate. At the end of the day, there was no problem between the family of that lady and the bishop's wife, but there's problem between the family of the husband to be to that lady and bishop's wife. And I said, what is it? He said, the bishop's wife said, no good thing will come to that family because when I wanted to marry his brother, he cheated me. So I will make sure that no good person, no good lady will marry anybody in that family again. I said, that's okay. So it's simple. Then we began to work on it. Who else will be in counseling? Okay, madam, you know, that's for that person. This person is different. It's a different person entirely. And this, we sort that in. Let us find out why they said they cannot get married. It can be resolved. Rather than, oh, I want to hire a father. I go and hire a mother. They just come and sign. No, marriage is not just signing. It's not just ceremony. It's deeper than that.
It's deeper.
Yeah.
So you should not go and say you will hire somebody to sign those papers for you.
It's dangerous.
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 Yes, your thoughts on this?
I agree totally with my brother. And one of the things I have learned is that some of these conflicts coming from the parents, some of them are positive. And it needs a man or this girl to listen to the parents. Because one, I view a parent as somebody who has been elevated by God to see things that you are not able to see when you are jumping.
Yeah.
They are able to see ahead. They have been in this life ahead of us.
Yeah.
They know some things we are yet to know. So from that perspective, when a parent is having reservation on some particular relationship, I think sometimes it is so good for this particular person to listen to the parents and try to find out. A good child would be friendly to his parents and sit them down. Dad, Mom, I can see that you are not for this. Please bring me to the truth. What is happening? why do you see this woman is not good for me?
Why do you say this man is not a good
Why
one?
Yeah.
is
And they'll
this
give
man,
you he's a drunkard, he's a
and
what?
they will tell you all these things.
Yeah, yeah.
And please try to create a very positive conversation. That, okay, where did you get this information from? Because sometimes we have some friends who knows this lady, who are against this lady, who are trying to influence my father not to allow me to marry this lady to score their resentment. So I will try to bring some very positive conversation.
Now, how do you handle this kind of conflict whereby you've approached your father or your mother, maybe, and you've asked them, Dad, you don't want me to get married to this man. Why? And your father tells you, I'm your father. Don't question my judgment.
Well, as Matthew said, that in Africa there are very technical things to deal because marriage is almost purely traditional.
Yeah.
That is why in Nigeria there's something they call our wife.
Yeah, our wife.
Yeah. Chiwa in our land. Chiwa, you know. So there are a lot of things that needs a lot of wisdom. And sometimes you are coming in before I finish some statement. Sometimes you find that the father or the parents is influenced by some negative thoughts that are not true about the lady or the man.
Okay.
And you know very well this is a good man. You know very well this is a good lady. I would want to marry this. I love this woman. I have walked a journey with her. I have known her well. I know her character. I know her faith. This is the person I want to put as part of my life forever. But now somebody is saying, no, you can't do that. Some of these things need a lot of wisdom. I've seen a scenario where a young man was facing same kind of thing. And he was so sober enough and kind enough, respectful enough to the parents. Then after prayers and a lot of counseling from some very good friends, he got to engage the friend of the father.
Yeah.
And he told me, no, you're my dad's friend. And I know my father trusts you and believes you. And that gives me audacity to put some things or tell you some things I cannot tell my father. So please go and find a good way to help me with my father. This is the type of woman I want to marry, and these are the reasons they are trying to bring. These things are untrue. Please do your own finding and have a conversation with my father, and please help me win this battle. And this brother prayed, and God used this brother to bring peace. And after all that, the father called the son and said, my son, I'm very sorry for this delay. I think those things were lies. Please go ahead and plan things. And things are amicable. Well done so well. It worked out.
Hey, Christian,
Yeah.
you agree with that?
Totally agree.
Now, I want us to touch on, to move quickly because of time, and get into now those who are married. If at all there is conflict before those who are married, and if you have questions, send them in. The hashtag is Spartalk Show, and head over to Facebook and drop in your comments on the comments section. I shall sample your feedback a bit later on. When it comes to the those who are married, there are so many factors here that I want to bring up into play, but let me start with the internal first before I go to external. There is internal conflict and there is external conflict. For internal conflict, when you and your spouse don't agree when it comes to information, sharing information, one day you go through his phone, you see something you don't like, he denies it. He says, no, you should not touch my phone. What do you do when there is conflict because of this device here? Conflict of the phone. And is it okay for a partner also, even as you answer that question, to have a password set that is personal? You don't give your wife your password, and then you say, my password is my password, it is my phone. Conflict because of this thing. Internal conflict, yes.
Well, thank you. I have seen quite a number of people, not only in West Africa, but also in East Africa here, when the husbands did not allow their wives to know even their investment. Unfortunately, they died. Both husband and wife elsewhere, I mean vice versa, died, and they are the estate agent that inherited whatever they had.
Wow.
And there are some monies that people, I think I read sometimes ago here, not only in Nigeria, there's some money that are held in banks just because the rightful owners died and nobody could claim it because they did not tell their spouses. So if I don't have anything I am hiding, why wouldn't I allow my partner to have?
They're saying it is my phone.
No.
It is my phone. It is my, I have my own private things that I'm doing as a man or as a woman. My husband should not have the password of my phone.
That is, well, as a counselor, what I do with my phone, because I do a lot of conversation and counseling and all that.
Yes.
The moment I am done with a client, I cleanse it.
In other words, are you advising us to delete?
No, I delete. No, because it's counseling. I don't want anybody to have access to the information of that person. But in the case of a partner, somebody that will kidnap you, already had some conversation with you, and you deleted it, your partner will not be able to help you to track you. You won't be able to help. You won't be helped. So there is no point. Transparency is very good. We should be transparent enough.
Should your spouse have the access to your
password information?
Yes. Password, everything.
Why would, if you are one, are you not sleeping together? Then what is the highest fellowship again?
I agree totally. You know, the moment there is a secret that you don't want your spouse to access, that begins to be number one enemy of trust. It begins to rock that trust. And then, again, it also invalidates what God had planned. The Bible said that a man shall leave his mother, a father and mother, and cleave, and they will become one. I think, let me put it this, for lack of a good word to put it, but let me put it this way. If I am having this woman next to me in the bed, what is so secret, again, that could be beyond that? So there must be good transparency, clarity between me and my partner.
Now,
but again, before you interject, I am a pastor.
Yes.
I deal with sometimes with very sensitive matters of people. That is one thing I tell my spouse, that you know what, there are things I'm dealing with in the life of other people that I've promised them that they will never hear these things anywhere. And therefore, if any case you bump on one, know that I have that oath of secrecy. I'm dealing with some matters that are very sensitive that can bring families down.
But now your wife is telling you, please, babe, you must trust me. You must trust me with the information.
I will tell you
I want to know what it is.
I will tell you one thing. It depends with which type of a woman. There are women that will tell you, must trust me, and they know all these things. The next day, these people will meet and say, hey, pastor, I wonder why I made a mistake to tell you all this. So you mean all these things I told you, you went and told everybody around?
But see, you told your wife.
I told my wife, and my wife mismanaged the information. Some of them, when they meet in the salon, this one, hey, I know. I bumped on the information in my husband's phone.
But now here there is conflict here, because there are couples, a husband and a wife, that have disagreed because of this device here.
Yeah, let me finish something here. I think when a husband and a wife are coming together in marriage, you need to know you are getting married to who. This man is a counselor. What is he dealing with? He's dealing with very sensitive matters and issues about families, about people, about individuals. Some of them are very powerful people in a nation like Kenya. And if you have already known that this is my husband, and who is my wife? My wife is a doctor. Sometimes he will come home with some information about some people's health. Maybe some of them I know are my friends, and my wife knows very well that they are suffering from HIV. I don't need to really know that, but if I know that she's dealing with that, then I know I'm checking all information about her up to what level. Because there are things I don't need to really access. So there is that point when we know one another.
But then still, what do you do when you are in conflict because of the phone? That's still the question.
Okay.
Now, what next? It has happened that we have disagreed. What next? Because my wife is not talking to me because I have refused to give her information that she asked for.
Okay.
Simple.
Well, Ram, I have learned the difference between facts and reasons. People can give facts.
Sorry, Christian.
Okay.
Allow me to interject. We have to take a short break.
Okay, that's great.
I was seeing something coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a short break, but after this we'll be back to handle a few more of these issues that are coming up. What do you do when it comes to handling conflict in relationships? We shall give different examples. You can give us your story. What conflict are you in that you need us to help you in solving? The hashtag is Power Talk Show. We shall be back in a bit. This is Power Talk. All right, welcome back. This is Power Talk, and as always, it is a pleasure being with you. And today we are talking about conflict in marriage, and we just want to head over to this next part of this particular conversation here today. The hashtag, as always, is Power Talk Show at Ram Aguko and at Y254 channels, where you can be able to engage with us. Keep talking to us, ask your questions, and of course, let us know where you are watching us from. All right, I'm trying to get your where you've posted it. I cannot find it, but as I look for it, as I look for that, pastors, I'm with Christian to my extreme right, and of course Reverend Evans here next to me. Let's finish up on that part. Conflict when it comes to marriage, and especially because of this. And we were on you.
Yes, sir.
And you were saying something before I cut you short.
Yeah.
When a couple is conflicted already. Now here is a case where a woman is not talking to the man because the man refused to share information about what is in the phone.
Yeah, thank you. And I started by saying that I've learned the difference between facts and reasons. It is a fact that they are arguing about the phone.
Yes.
But that is not the reason. Trust is broken. It is nothing. The phone is nothing. But why is it that this person is having feelings about certain feelings? Why is it that the person is laying emphasis on the phone, having access to the password? It's like the trust is broken. She never trusts that guy. So it is not the phone, it's not the password. It's like, I don't have access to what you're doing.
So the phone is the trigger.
Yeah, it's like, if you can open that, then I will have enough trust for you that we are sit together.
So to solve the conflict, do you open the phone?
Well, I will want to find out what she knows and what she's looking for, and I will prove it. This is my phone. In fact, if you are so bold enough, you can give your wife your phone for the whole day. Then that would be some fantastic. I mean, it's like you say, oh, I misunderstood you.
So are you saying if husbands and wives have a problem when it comes to the phone, what you do, give them your phone the whole day?
Not only the whole day, but give them access to your phone.
And solve the problem.
Like this one, for example, this one, fingerprint. Let her fingerprint be here too. She's able to answer your phone when you are in the bathroom. She's able to maybe respond to an urgent text. Give her access. Give him access to your phone.
All right.
That's done.
That's done. It will solve the conflict.
Yeah.
Especially if that is the issue. And maybe somebody is asking her some questions outside. Your husband is chatting with this person. I want to confirm. It's not about you, but some people are personal. It might even be some men that are asking her out. You see, after all, I asked you to agree with me. You know, I agree. Your husband is dating that girl. In fact, I read their conversation. In fact, possibly they sent the chat and they said, look at the chat between your husband and this lady. And the wife now say, I want to see your phone. And I say, no, you cannot see my phone. Then you are confirming it.
That there is a problem.
Yes.
Wow.
What you think is true.
It's true. So, actually, that's how it happens. I want us to touch on yet another thing. The past.
Okay.
There's conflict because of your past.
Yeah.
There's something you did or something that happened to you because, and you've not yet told your partner. What do you do what should partners do when they are conflicted because one person has just realized something that they never knew about their partner that happened in the past?
It's more common nowadays.
Yeah.
And the reason being, our young people today are not being open to their partners. Some of them are hiding a lot. For example, I was attending a wedding, and when the bishop posed a question, before I joined these two people,
very good question,
who could be having an issue that is against me joining these people?
My goodness.
Then a lady from behind, here.
Yeah, it's his child.
Yeah, and the lady was walking to the bishop.
My God.
Bishop, I don't need to introduce myself, but you can look at the child.
Look at the nose.
And you know what happened? The lady collapsed. The bride collapsed and fell down.
My goodness.
So all these things could have been avoided by simply telling this lady, you love me, I love you, I know. We have known each other, but there's one thing you need to know about me.
Yeah.
So that if you're loving me with the knowledge of who I am.
But now the problem there comes is that you're volunteering information that might bring more conflict.
No.
You are not sure how they will receive it. You don't know if they will even see you in the same way.
The fear would come, and I agree with you, it is more common in this generation. Because this generation are not marrying for the right reason or purpose for marriage. This generation will look at you as Ram, the way you so sharp, smart, and very intelligent, and you're driving your car and you have some coin in your pocket, is attracted to that, not the person you are. Somebody like that, trusting her with that information would be like trusting the devil with your life. Because the next day, every information will be the moment you disagree on something, you will find that information everywhere.
But now in this case, these people are married.
These people are now married, but they kept a lot of secret. I think that is why we need spiritual leaders, we need counselors, we need also the person who stood for you, like your best couple. You have to break some information. Or maybe this thing has happened. You have to bring some very trusted friend. And you have to be very honest with this.
Right.
Honesty is the remedy here. My darling, before my good friend, or we have good friend, before my pastor, before our counselor, there's some information I kept from you. I'm very sorry. I would not be offended in whichever thing you are going to do with this information, but this is what happened, and I kept it from you.
Christian?
If this woman loves you enough,
will
understand you, forgive you, and also have her mind hard about this issue.
Thank you. If you ask somebody to marry you, it is part of the package. There's nobody who does not have narrative. All of us have past. In fact, the two important tenses in English is past and present. So, if I did not tell you everything about myself, and I agree to marry, you agree to marry me, it's marriage by deception. And under law, it's not binding on you, because this is not part of the package I had.
But now what I'm trying to get from you guys is this. There is conflict that this couple is in right now. They have realized something about the past of their spouse, and they're now not together. They are not talking to each other. Because they have just discovered something new.
Yes, because this person was not transparent enough. How will I trust you with my life again? How will I know that?
So you leave them? Do you leave them?
How will I say that everything you have told me is true? Because everything I discovered that later. No, you don't. You don't do that. Actually, we have some commitment. children involvement, business together and order, then we allow this, whoever that is aggrieved, to heal. That is why we need counselors. See counselors. The counselors will see, we understand, will meet you, meet your spouse, then we now empower you to tell the spouse certain things, why certain things happen, and talk to the wife to express herself.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is my thought.
Allow the woman or the partner to express himself or herself. Let him or her speak his or her mind. This is what I feel about what you have told me.
All right.
But in that scenario, engage very trusted friends or a very experienced counselor or a spiritual leader will guide you and help you heal from that process. And again, that is why I agree in what Miles Mundo said sometimes back, that marriage is a union of two forgivers.
Powerful.
There will be so many issues.
Yeah.
But if you're not ready to forgive, forgiveness is one of the very vital currency in a marriage setup.
Now, I want us to touch on yet another scenario here, still that leads to conflict, children. But now, when it comes to children, there's so many aspects. Now, let me talk about this particular aspect here. We are in Africa.
Yeah.
You've gotten married, 5 years down the line, no kids.
Yeah.
It's now bringing problems because your parents, your in-laws are asking for children. Your parents want grandchildren. Where are my grandchildren? You are not delivering. It's now bringing conflict. And some even end up bringing solutions that go get somebody else. What do you do when you are conflicted because of children that you don't yet have? How do you solve that?
Well, dialogue.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
Between who and who?
First, you want to understand, if I were a woman and there's a pressure from my in-laws, I want to dialogue with my husband. I want to know whether or not we are on the same page. If I know his thought, then I will now say, okay, how do we arrive at getting solution? There are so many ways. There are so many ways to cross river. If you know if you have faith, you can walk on the water.
Yeah.
If you don't have faith, but you have money, then you can hire a boat. If you don't have money, you don't have faith, then you can swim. Go and swim.
If you don't have faith, if you have faith, walk on water.
You walk on, walk on
If
water.
you don't have faith, get a boat.
Get a boat.
That is
If you have money. Yeah.
If you have money.
Yeah.
If you don't have faith and you don't have money, swim.
Then you can swim. In this case, there are so many ways you can have a child. You can, if it is, what is the problem? Oh, this guy is having a low sperm count and whatever, then boost it. Then if it is, you want to go and adopt a child, do something and make the family understand. That's why we are systemic.
Now, what do you do in the case whereby you've just realized that all this time that your husband was making noise, shouting at you, saying that you're not woman enough, that the actually problem was what you've said, the low sperm count, and the problem was with him, and now you're pissed off at him.
That is conflict. It is agree. Yeah, see, we are in counseling. We allow people to vent their angers. They vent, they really fight. As a counselor, just begin to watch. Allow them. It's healing. They are healing.
So
they
allow
cry.
them to shout.
They shout. Because it's counseling.
Let them shout.
Yes. In the counseling
Some
of.
couples say they don't like to be shouted.
No. People have cried many times in my sessions. They have cried. They have made noise. And you see, it's silent proof. Our counseling offices. So it's like anybody can come. I've seen people that strip themselves in counseling. They were naked, they were cursing. I just began to watch at them. And at the end of the day, I said, okay, after thunder comes rain. What can we do? And we discuss how we do. And they hug each other before. So it's like, find out, negotiate, allow people to make noise. If they don't make noise, they are not healing.
Yes.
Concept of Africans believe that the moment you marry a woman,
Children.
the following year, this woman must have dropped triplets, twins, or one. But the thing is, I like using the Bible as a standard because everything about marriage is God's idea. And in the Bible, Isaac married a wife for 20 years, no child. What did he do? He didn't go for another wife. He didn't go for another option. Isaac went back to God. And the Bible said that he prayed for his wife. And his wife conceived. If there's a complication somewhere that maybe is beyond a doctor or beyond a counselor, beyond medical things, then we need to engage God, because the Bible said that children are great blessings from God.
Yeah.
So if it is a blessing from God, it is only, that means it is controlled by God. It is not in my power. We can only be together as husband and wife, but above all that God can do, it will bless our marriage.
Now, still, how do you handle conflict in the sense where, that the in-laws are the ones who are making demands? They're saying our son has not given us children. They say our daughter has not given us. How do you handle the in-laws?
I would go first of all with what Matthew said. Me and my wife, we have to be on the same page.
Okay.
I didn't marry the children in my wife. I married my wife. And I said, yes, I do, for better, for worse. So whether it's a barren woman, it's my wife. My parents cannot have a say in the condition of my wife. I didn't marry for my parents. I married for myself. So the influence of parents are coming in when they are allowed. Actually, I experienced this when I got married. I am the only son of my mother.
The only son?
The only son.
You must be loved.
2 sisters.
You must be loved.
Yeah. And you know, before I married, we were with my mother up to very late at night.
Are you the only son in your family?
No. So when I married,
yes,
my mother felt like I'm no longer giving her time. I'm no longer doing the things I used to do her. And she was trying to bring issues. And I had to be very firm. And I told my mom, you know what? You were married to my father.
Yes.
You enjoyed it. You brought us here.
Yes.
We don't want to get into the issues you had with my father and whatever. But now this is my marriage. If you want me to remain a good son to you, respect and honor my marriage. But the moment you bring your nose on my marriage, we'll part ways, because this is now my family. I have a responsibility, both divine and a practical responsibility, to defend my marriage. And from that time, my mother stopped. And you know what I did? I didn't want to bring enmity between my wife and my mother. So anytime I was doing anything to my mother, I would give my wife to give. If it is money, I would give my wife to give. If it is clothes, I would give my wife. And at the end of the day, my mother was announcing to everybody, you know, my son is just a preacher. He'll never remember me. It is my daughter-in-law. And he doesn't know I'm the one doing all these things. And that was solved. So deflated flat on the ground.
I want us to touch on something else, but your input. How do you handle conflict of the in-laws who are making demands towards your own family?
I totally agree with him, because you married your wife, not the in-laws, and it is a complete package. It's like no testing. Either it is good, either it is bad. You do not say, yes, I do, if she gives me child on time. Yes, I do, if she's behaving well. No, it's a complete package. So, but I want to add that we can negotiate with the in-laws to know exactly, because you see, when some people are looking this side, they face this side, this is exactly where they're looking. I mentioned difference between facts and reasons. They might have their reason. Look at the reason he gave. She wanted to have access to him the way it has always been. That's why he was complaining. It was not the complaint. It was not against her. But it's like, I don't have your time. Any longer, I don't have my time. So we want to find out what exactly is the issue with the in-laws. Then we can now get to their real argument.
All right. Now, let's handle this particular conflict here. A man feels as though the wife does not respect him. The wife tells you, look at the family of so-and-so. Look at how that man, we have now come from Valentine's. Look at how this man gifted the wife with a brand new car, with a house. Look at how other men are doing this. Now there is conflict. Now this man has not accepted such kind of a tone, and now the man erupted in anger. Now they are in conflict. What do you do?
Okay, let me give you this short scenario. A particular lady was complaining about, I told my wife this story and she laughed a lot about it. The lady was complaining, anytime we are going out, you don't open the door. You see, this is Africa. This is South Africa. You don't open the door for me. You don't open the door of the car. You don't. Okay.
Do you know these things
Don't
cause
pull
problems?
the chair for me.
So now, one day, and said, okay, again, my friend's husband rides in several cars, and I don't think he has much qualification that you do. Okay, so, and one day she went to ask that her friend, said, that your husband is very loving. She comes to open the car door anytime you are coming out. The wife said, you're suffering. Our car door cannot, the door cannot open from inside. So you have to
He's using a fake standard.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Is it?
Hey, the door cannot open from inside.
From
So
inside.
someone has to walk.
Has to walk.
So you see, an outsider sees a very romantic man.
Oh, this woman is enjoying.
So that's exactly what we have to treat a case on its own merits.
Yeah.
So you don't compare notes.
Yeah.
You don't know what that person. The person might be stealing from the government. The husband is honest. He's doing the best he could do. Question: how much does he earn? He earned 30,000. How much does he bring? See, what I did. My wife is a university professor. We did not start that way. What I did, I was working. My salary, I will come home, and it saved me a lot. Everything we have had, this is how much we have had. So if somebody is coming from my hand to come and say, no, not this man, because he knew everything I had. But if I was always giving 20 shillings, use 20 shillings, she would think, oh, the money is still there. Yeah, but now it's like she knew everything, so it's like she's the one that will protect me.
Now, how should a man behave in a setup whereby he always feels offended that the wife does not respect him, or the wife feels as though this man does not respect him? The man is being told, be like other men are doing this, and the woman is being told, be like other women. Look at sister so-and-so, look at how she dresses, look at how she does her hair.
Number one question.
Conflict.
Do you respect yourself? That's a question I need to answer. Do I respect myself before I complain about another person respecting me? Number two, who is my wife? From what background? Because maybe she grew from that harsh background.
Yeah.
There was no love, there was no respect. That is the only thing she knows, and that is the only thing she can offer. So that would bring me to a good understanding and patience, trying to nurture good character in her. But again, some of them are just naturally rude.
Some people are just naturally
rude.
So what do you do with them?
So in such scenario, sometimes we think that we want to make our wives toe the line.
They're naturally rude.
I would tell you as a pastor, and I will tell you as a man who have been married for some few years, man of God might have gone ahead of you. I've realized you cannot make your wife toe the line. You can only make yourself toe the line.
Because they're naturally rude.
Yeah. Some people are just naturally rude. And
so you just leave them.
What you do, you try to talk to them so well with understanding. And some character issues, you might not overcome them overnight. You will have a lot of patience to try to help them overcome. But in case this thing is going overboard, there are 2 or 3 things that I think somebody can do. One, this is my partner. I would pray for her.
All right.
Number 2, I would engage a very trusted fellow or a trusted friend or a trusted spiritual leader whom I know my wife or my spouse respects.
And can listen to.
Yeah, you can listen to. That is why I always tell people that please, in your family, have this friend that your wife knows very well she can trust. Have this friend that your children knows very well that if we cannot talk to our dad or our mom, there's this good friend we can talk to.
All right. I want to touch on something else. Now, divorce.
Yeah.
Because of conflict, divorce is the result.
Yeah.
Now, because of time, I will just put them all together. Yeah, if we had more time, we would have dissected this because this is another sensitive part. I'll put them all together in the sense that, one, we have a couple that got divorced and now they want to get back together. But now, because of the previous, experience, they're still struggling, They don't know what to do. And when they get back together, there's conflict again, they break up again. They get back together again, they break up. They get back together. So even the community knows those people, I'll leave them alone. What should they do when it comes to that kind of conflict? Number two, still under divorce, a couple that got separated, a man and a wife, let's call the man A and the wife B. Now, A wants to marry, to remarry to somebody else. But now, because of the experience A had with B, they are having issues in their marriage. Trust issues. Because my previous wife cheated on me, for example. What do you do after divorce and you're trying to handle this conflict within yourself and with your partner? Christian.
Oh, thank you. I'll start with number two. I'm talking as a marriage and family therapist here. It is very common that when people divorce, in fact, before they conclude their divorce papers and all that, they're already dating someone else, and a few months later they get married. This is very hazardous. You see, with divorce, there are certain losses, emotional losses, and apart from finances, and losses bring grieving. We don't allow ourselves to grieve. Therefore, we did not receive healings. If that guy has not received healing of the losses and whatever that has gone in him, he might have some phobia to proceed. So he might need to see a counselor that will work with him.
All right.
And children suffer a lot. We don't consider children when we want to go into divorce or remarriage. We should engage children, even if they are just 2 years. Engage them, because we are playing with their emotion. And a lot of people are harming clients out there. Say, so that you can be comfortable because of the children, and go and get married on time so they have somebody to take care of your children. No, we are harming the children. We didn't have them before we divorced in the first place. Yeah. So we don't have them before we go again and remarry. We are selfish. So
let's try and answer both of them at the same time, both questions. Okay. Those who are separated want to get back together, and those who are separated and not to remarry to other people. I'm coming to you, Evans.
One, divorce was never God's idea, but it can happen because of a few reasons that could be true or could be untrue. But in case it happens and now the couples would want to get back together, the idea of wanting to come back together, meaning I have come to some realization, or I've arrived to some reality that is leading me or telling me, by the way, we can still nurture our marriage and come back together. I think what should be done, number one, is to come together. This is why I always advise that when somebody is getting married, please don't engage somebody who is your peer or your age mate to be your couple, the best couple. Have somebody experienced enough. For example, if I would be married now, I would really have Brother Matthew quickly as my best couple, if I've known him very well, because he is experienced, he has been there, he knows what is happening. Now, if you're going to Nakuru through public means, you'll always see the conductor from Nairobi doing some sign for the conductor from Nakuru. Yes. You know what they're asking? How is the way ahead? Yeah. So this guy is telling, meaning kuna wawili hapo mbele, some two are ahead. Yes. So this guy is coming from where this other guy is going to. Yes. So you need to have somebody experienced who have gone through what you are yet to go through. All right. So at this time, you can engage them with their spiritual leaders and tell them, now both of us have agreed and have seen ourselves, and we are planning to get back together again. A, B, C, D were the issues that brought conflict in our marriage and separated us. And now help us understand these things and help us overcome these things so that we come together again. Pray with us. I think that will be a better way to solve it.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, I would
wow.
agree with Brother Matthew
yeah.
that don't just do it yourselves, the two of you. If you have kids and they are part of this family, please engage them. Please involve them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, time is not on our side. I'm seeing Grace Gakenya is saying, tuned in from Nakuru, I need your help. Grace, yes, you can let us know what it is, but that you need us to help you with, we shall answer your question. Paul Murimi anasema live from Ilasit pamoja na Mbogi ya Chemu. Michulios KE anasema tuni from Kisii, Buroma, J Kid, The King, na kuona Isaac yule mmoja, Kalundu, Kitui Town pamoja. And of course, a big thanks to everyone who tuned in again. I'm told the time is not on our side, but thank you so much for tuning in. Octoven, fantastic. Anasema Reverend Kocho, our pastor, pale Kisii Town, opposite Elgon View College, a good pastor watching this show. Darius Wanjagu, thank you so much, everybody. Let's go to the quote. Bring up the quote. Bring up the quote. You have it there? Now, the presence of conflict in your relationship means nothing. The way you deal with conflict means everything. Be wise. And that is a quote that we are going to use to end this morning show right here on Y254. A big thanks to Christian. Thank you so much for coming. Reverend Kocho, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Time is not on our side, but we have to end it at that point. A repeat of this show airs again tonight at 10 p.m. My name is Ram Maguko. As always, it has been a pleasure being with you. I hope you've learned something, and these tips shall help your marriage. This is Power Talk.